Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mr. Saucedo's YouTube videos. Today, we're going to be looking at food webs. We already talked about food chains and consumer relationships and trophic levels and all that stuff. So, a food web is basically what happens when you take many food chains from from the same ecosystem or biome, and then you put them all together. Because the problem with food chains is that it is a linear relationship that shows this eats this, eats this, eats this. When in reality, most of the time, those organisms can consume many different things. So, what a food web shows is the complex network of feeding relationships that an ecosystem or a biome can have, and it is much more accurate as a result. So, notice that in this very simple food web, you've got this mouse here, which consumes one, two, three, four different kinds of things. And if this were, made accurately, we'd probably include a lot more things than just these. But still, it gives you an idea that, okay, hey, this thing consumes many different things. Something odd that you might see here is that you have a two-way arrow, and that's because this little guy can drink the blood of this bird, and then the bird also eats the mosquito. So it's very rare that you see a double-sided arrow in a food web, but if it does, that means they consume each other, or at least they consume part of each other. So that's something to look out for. So in your notes, you're going to recreate this food web, which has multiple types of producers. It also includes decomposers. Not a lot of food webs include decomposers because then, since they're decomposers, anything that decomposes can become food or substrate basically for the fungus to grow. But notice that everything's nice and spread out, and you don't have to recreate the drawings, but you can just have like a little box representing the bobcat and a box representing the gray fox. But feel free to pause the video if you need to, so you can recreate this food web. And that was pretty much it. But I guess before we move on to our next topic, I should give you some general guidelines for how you would want to manufacture a food web. So the first thing is, obviously, you don't need to draw the organisms themselves. Like, you can just put the name in a box, and that is more than enough information for me. Again, producers, normally you want to put them towards the very bottom of your food web. So things like plants and algae, you want to put those towards the bottom since they're going to be consumed by many different things. Higher trophic level organisms go towards the top, so your top predators go towards the top. In fact, if you go back to that previous slide, you'll see the black bears near the top, the coyote, I think it was near the top. Those are top predators. And you definitely want to spread out your organisms so that you don't have a lot of arrows crossing each other. That's something that makes it really difficult to read what your food web is trying to get across. And so you can see here, if we go back, that there aren't very many arrows crossing each other. In fact, I can see there's a crossing here, 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 and there. There only looks like there's a couple of crossings. That's it. So if you have any questions, let me know.